blog, where you can catch the latest videos and get updates throughout the day.
Imran, thank you very much indeed. We're off to one of our correspondents in Tahrir Square and talking to one of your colleagues a short while ago, heard about the army asking the protesters to take down the barricades. Any sign of that?
Well, from where I am, there is no sign of that. I'm actually looking at a different entry to the square, and there is a huge amount of people there waiting to get in. I got in to the square from that area, and the army was actually checking bags very, very thoroughly. That was the first checkpoint. I did not hear that at least they were going to remove the barricades from that side of the square.
What sort of sense do you get from the people there today that there's a bit of a hangover from the high points, the euphoria of Friday?
You could put it that way. I think there is a bit of worry, or a cloud of worry really here, in the sense that many people realize that they have reached a deadlock at this stage. Yesterday was the big day. There was a big show of support from many people who came and joined the protest. But there is also a lack of leadership. There is also a lack of unified voice. People here are from all sorts of different parties and ideologies at this stage, and there's actually no one or no group of people who is leading them. There are people who have offered to lead them, but no one has got really the legitimacy at this point, and they are getting news that people outside of Liberation Square are living a completely different reality. They do realize that the economy cannot be at a standstill for longer. They do realize that people are complaining about the lack of income. I mean, some of the protesters who came into the square told me that some people outside told them, go back home, we need to eat, we need to open our shops. So there is a realization that the public opinion could again sway to the other side. The government has announced tomorrow that it will open the banks. The government is trying to bring some sort of normalcy to the economical life, and that could be a point where the government wins some hearts and minds. So they do realize it's a very difficult situation, and at this stage there needs to be a political move and a compromise.
Thank you very much indeed. And just to underline that point about the banks, the central bank deputy governor saying they will reopen at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning Egypt time. In just a moment, we'll be looking at the waiting game. It goes on for 3 Pakistan cricketers. They are the trio accused of spot fixing, and they're going to learn their fate at a corruption hearing in Doha.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies. We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
See the world from every angle and every side. Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
Sports time with Andy Richardson.
Thank you very much, David. 3 Pakistan cricketers are waiting to learn their fate at an anti-corruption hearing here in Qatar. Mohammad Amir, Mohammad Asif and Salman Butt have been accused of spot fixing by the sports world governing body. Trio are charged with conspiring to accept illegal payments in return for bowling no balls at prearranged times during a test match against England last year. Now, this independent anti-corruption tribunal, it sat for 6 days last month, and we hope it's now poised to announce its final decision, but the waiting is still going on. Well, joining us now from that hearing in Doha is my colleague Rahul Pathak. Rahul, we're expecting this to end today, but it's still going on. They're back in front of that tribunal with their legal teams. Have we got any idea what's being discussed at the moment?
I think there seem to be two major sticking points, Andy. One of them is that certain players are very eager for this decision to be deferred or delayed because they feel it could prejudice any future criminal proceedings in the UK. Of course, the Crown Prosecution Service in Britain formally charged the three on Friday of obtaining and accepting corrupt payments. That carries with it a maximum jail term of 7 years, so a very, very serious charge indeed. And I think certain players are very, very eager for that decision to be delayed so it doesn't prejudice those proceedings which begin on March the 17th, I think. We're also hearing that some of the players are pushing for a lighter punishment by putting in pleas of mitigation, but that, of course, that basically gives them some sort of measure of culpability, and it seems that we're moving away now from the idea of the players being either guilty or innocent, moreover the fact what these players are actually guilty of, and of course from there we can work out what the punishments are. Andy?
They obviously face some very serious sanctions, this trio, if they are found guilty. What's at stake for them and what's at stake for Pakistan cricket?
Well, basically, if they're found guilty of the most serious charge, then that's a life ban from the sport. But I fear that we're also going down the road of maybe they're trying to push for these lighter punishments. It also goes down to not notifying of an illegal approach by a bookmaker, and that's just a 1-year ban. But in terms of for Pakistan cricket, well, for one of the players, Muhammad Amir, a very young player, if he's lost to the game of cricket, we are losing one of the future superstars of the sport. But I really get a sense that Pakistan cricket might be moving on already from these guys. They've had a very successful tour of New Zealand, and I was chatting to a few of the Pakistan journalists here today, and they say if Pakistan do well in the Cricket World Cup, which begins later this month, then frankly the Pakistan cricketing public might start forgetting about these players very quickly.
Rahul, thank you very much for that. The waiting goes on. I'm sure we'll hear from you in the next hour or two as we await that decision. Let's move on to some football, and Fernando Torres has said he won't celebrate if he scores for Chelsea against his old club Liverpool on Sunday. Torres left Anfield for around $80 million on the last day of the January transfer window. The Spanish striker, well, he's been showing off the new shirt that's sure to make Chelsea a few $1 million. Torres says he took the decision to quit Liverpool because of his desire to win the European Champions League.
I know the ambition this club has about winning the Champions League, and it's the same ambition that I have. So I want to win the Champions League, of course, like everyone.
Saturday's early game in England has already kicked off, 1-1 between Stoke and Sunderland, just into the second half. In that one, third place Man City host West Brom a little later. Arsenal looking to cut the 4-point gap on leaders Man United as they face Newcastle away. United, they could break a club record against Wolves, aiming to stretch their unbeaten run to 30 league games. Coach Alex Ferguson also relieved that Wayne Rooney is finally scoring goals again.
What Wayne has always had, he's got a fantastic energy to play in the game. He's always committed to doing his best. The bonus is, as we saw the other night, he's got 2 goals. And hopefully, and there's every chance, scoring the kind of goals he scored the other night, particularly that first goal, that he'll take off.
Freezing weather continuing to dominate the build-up to Sunday's Super Bowl. Fans now struggling to get to Texas with hundreds of flights already cancelled. This is the scene now at Cowboys Stadium where the Green Bay Packers will face the Pittsburgh Steelers. A global television audience in excess of 150 million people expected to watch this one. Finally, a bit of action for you from the 14th Freestyle World Ski Championships. That's been held in the US as well. This, the quarterfinal of the women's ski cross event in Utah. Spectacular crash that took out all 4 competitors. Miraculously, they all escaped serious injury. The somersaulting Heidi Zacher, you can see her just about to face plant. She actually managed to pick herself up and win the heat and progress to the semis. OK, that is your sport, David.
Andy, thank you very much indeed. Continuing coverage of events in Egypt and the rest of the world. Back in just a moment.
Hello again. In Australia, there's yet more heavy rain still to come. We've got two main systems with us, really. The first one, well, these are the remains of our storm Yasi, gradually working their way towards the west, but still giving torrential downpours here. And what this storm has also done is activated this system in the southeast. Now,